We're going to get started right at 9 a.m. We will speak to you shortly. Okay, we're going to get started. It is 9 a.m. on the dot. I would like to first off introduce myself. My name is Ted Harris. I'm the Executive Vice President of the Pennsylvania Petroleum Association. The PPA also operates a trade school, which we refer to as PPA Tech. Our school is licensed by the Pennsylvania Department of Education as a private licensed school. We also, as I think a lot of our companies that are joining here today, a big part of what we focus on at the school is training opportunities for industry. For different capacities for our employer members to upskill their employees through the various hands-on training and certifications that we offer at the school. And for the purpose of the webinar today, we're really here to not just talk about PPA Tech, but we've invited the team from the Building Performance Association to cover a new program referred to as Penn Heat Pump Pathways. And I'm not going to jump into more details there, but before we kick this off, a couple of housekeeping items. We are going to record this webinar, so that will be available for you to share with your team or reference at a later date. The slides will also be available if you want to follow and ask for that information after the webinar. As an attendee, you're going to be on mute throughout the webinar here this morning. We're going to try and be pretty concise here, ideally shoot for about 15, 20 minutes in terms of presentation. But we really encourage you to ask questions, and the way that you would do that is by typing in questions into the question feature and go to webinar. And then what we will do once we get to the end of the presentation is we will do a Q&A based on the questions that were submitted. So I think any question is a good question. This is a new program. I think there's a lot of really exciting details with this, but please, we encourage you to ask questions. And I think if you have a question, it's probably going to benefit others that are on here. So please keep that in mind. So to tee this up, I would like to start off by introducing Summer Ripple. Summer is the program marketing manager for the Building Performance Association. Summer's going to introduce some other people from her team, and we're going to jump into this and go from there. Summer.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Like Ted said, my name is Summer Ripple. I'm the program marketing manager for BPA. I started with the company about the end of November, and this is the first project that I kind of jumped on. So it's very exciting. We're so happy to present this to you. We have Bryson on here. He is our Director of Community Impact. He's going to be manning the questions. And then we also have Jean on here. I'm going to pass it over to her real quick so she can introduce herself.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining. My name is Jean Nagy. I'm the CFO of Building Performance Association, and I am here to answer any financial questions that you may have about the program.
Jean. All right, well, let's get into it. So we're here to learn about Penn Heat Pump Pathways. So just some housekeeping stuff before we get into it. I just want to touch on program funding and how Penn Heat Pump Pathways is being made possible. This program is led by the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection's Energy Programs Office, It is using Federal Department of Energy funds given to Pennsylvania through the Inflation Reduction Act to enhance existing heat pump training programs. Penn Heat Pump Pathways also supports the Penn Energy Savers program. Successful completion of Penn Heat Pump Pathways enables a worker or employer to be listed as a Penn Energy Savers qualified contractor as long as you meet the eligibility requirements. And just something to note that the Penn Energy Savers program has not yet launched. It's definitely something that will be coming down the road, but right now it is not out. So again, welcome to the presentation. Why are you here? You're obviously here to learn about Penn Heat Pump Pathways. So my goal is I want you to walk away with an understanding of what the program is, why it is beneficial to you, the contractor, why it is beneficial to your employees, and how you can get started with this program. So we just talked about, why you're here, a little overview, but why are you really here? We're hearing a lot of things in the industry that HVAC contractors are facing more challenges today than ever. So some of those challenges that we're hearing is that finding and keeping skilled technicians is challenging. Experienced workers are retiring and qualified talent is harder to find. Another pain point, keeping up with new technologies. Heat pumps and evolving HVAC systems require new skills, tools, and installation expertise. Investing in training takes time and resources. Training employees is essential, but pulling technicians away from jobs can impact daily operations and be costly. And maintaining quality installations, proper sizing, installation, and commissioning are critical for performance, comfort, and customer satisfaction. Maybe some of these things sound familiar, maybe one, maybe all of them, maybe none of them. Maybe these are things that you didn't even know, were pain points for you. But as we're talking about the program, just keep these things in mind. So an agenda for the presentation, I'm going to go over the Penn Heat Pump Pathways program overview. We're going to talk about employer benefits, talk about employee benefits. I'm going to touch on the Penn Heat Pump Pathways and PA Petroleum Partnership, and we're going to talk about how to get started. So a quick program overview. What is Penn Heat Pump Pathways? Penn Heat Pump Pathways is a program that connects workers, employers, and trainers across Pennsylvania to help strengthen the residential HVAC workforce. PHPP offers access to free, high-quality heat pump training, support services, and job opportunities. This program is open to all Pennsylvania residents. Existing workers who live outside of Pennsylvania may also participate if they are employed by a Pennsylvania-based company. We know, there's a lot of neighboring states like New York, West Virginia. So if there's workers that live in those states, as long as they're employed by a Pennsylvania-based company, they are able to apply to be in the program. So Penn Heat Pump Pathways focuses on 3 pillars: training, support, and opportunity. Here's how it works. So we have our training providers who offer free approved heat pump training for both new and existing workers. Workers who qualify can get help paying for support and wraparound services to grow their careers. We're seeing things from mileage reimbursement to hotel reimbursement. So we're really here to support workers and really to be able to help them get in the program and complete it. Penn Heat Pump Pathways helps with job placement and making valuable work connections. And that's something we'll talk about a little bit later on in the presentation, and how you as an employer are vital to this step. So Penn Heat Pump Pathways focuses on 3 audiences. We have our workers, who are classified as new and existing. We have our trainers, and we have our employers. So a new worker is identified as someone that is without a job, or it is for someone who is not currently working but used to work in HVAC. Some of the program benefits for these new workers are free heat pump training, access to support services, and job placement. These workers will be on a certain pathway for training, and those trainings will last from a few weeks to a couple months. For our existing workers, so these are people who currently work in HVAC. Some program benefits for them are they have they can receive free heat pump training or NATE heat pump air-to-air installation specialty exam. Once they complete the program and or complete the exam, they have the ability to participate in the Penn Energy Savers program, and they are also eligible for support services. So for existing workers, their training pathways look different from the new workers. Their trainings might last, 1 to 5 days, depending on the training that they're looking to take. We have our trainers like PA Petroleum. These are for trainers who offer in-person or online heat pump HVAC training. Some benefits to them are they are able to list their trainings for free. They can easily reach people who want to take their trainings, and they get paid. And for employers like yourself, these are for businesses who are looking to find reliable workers and or who want to upskill their current workers. Some program benefits are you can build a reliable pipeline of workers, upskill a team for free. We do have wage subsidy available, and you get listed as a qualified contractor on the Penn Energy Savers site. So let's dive deeper into some employer benefits that the program offers. You can upskill your team for free. We offer high quality heat pump training for free. That really takes the burden off of you as the contractor, as the employer, to get your team upskilled and to keep them up to date. We offset training hours, which with wage stipends. We offer $8 an hour. It's available to help offset employee time spent in training. So that's been a really great benefit that people are really happy about. The program helps you build a pipeline of qualified workers. You are able, as an employer, you are able to post job openings on the Career Equity job board. Career Equity is a partner that we use, and whenever you apply, you get a login to this program. And this is where, workers can find trainings that they might want to sign up for. And you as an employer, you can post job openings, and you can connect with new workers who are coming out of the program, who have completed the training and that are qualified. So that's a nice bonus for our employers. The program supports business growth. You can benefit from a more qualified workforce and expand your services and stay competitive in the current landscape. And this program also helps you prepare for growing heat pump demand. We're hearing the industry is saying heat pumps are a rapidly growing part of the market. Contractors need trained workers and updated skills to stay competitive. And this program really helps you prepare your workforce for where the industry is heading. Now, some employee benefits. The program helps your employees build in-demand skills. They can gain hands-on knowledge and technical skills for free. They can increase their earning potential. This program helps them develop specialized skills to help grow within the industry. And it also helps them stay current with industry changes. They can keep their skills up to date as HVAC technology continues to evolve. So we touched on the program. I gave you guys a lot of information, but now we're just going to talk about the Penn Heat Pump Pathways and the PA Petroleum Partnership. So PA Petroleum is an approved PHPP trainer. They went on our website, they filled out the application. They are, like I said, they were approved. They are listed on our website as an approved trainer. Their trainings are listed on the Career Equity website and are available for selection by interested workers. And Penn Heat Pump Pathways reimburses PA Petroleum for workers' tuition. And PA Petroleum is also an official Penn Heat Pump Pathways outreach partner. So they have signed on with us to help us promote the program to their network, hence our call today. And they recruit to fill seats in their training. So we are very thankful for our partnership with them. And one thing that we provide to our outreach partners are toolkits. So we have 3 toolkits that were created for employers, new workers, and existing workers. And the purpose of these toolkits are to provide our partners with ready-to-use marketing and communication materials to promote the program. So we do have, like I said, an existing worker toolkit. PA Petroleum does have that. It is something that is available to you. If you would like it, you can request it and they will send it over to you. It includes a one-page flyer, email banners, social images, and social text. This is something that you can send out to your current employees, to get them excited about the program and to help them learn more about it. And there are also many upcoming Penn Heat Pump Pathways trainings at PA Petroleum. They have a handful of existing worker trainings that are coming up. Some starting as early as it looks like next week. And there are a bunch of dates set out, and I believe we'll probably be adding more, as the days and weeks go on. And these are the existing worker trainings. And they also have new worker trainings as well coming up. They have one starting again next week that goes until September, then another one starting in January that goes almost until the end of March 2027. So next steps. What should you do? As an employer, we ask that you would go to our website and apply as an employer. When you go to our website, it's broken down by workers, employers, and trainers. If you click on the employer tab, it goes over a lot of the information that I probably just talked about, and you can apply right on there. It is important to apply as an employer because this is how you get reimbursed for those wage stipends. This is how you're able to add jobs to the job board on the Career Equity website, and just to really get into our system. Next, you can introduce your employees to the program. I have our website listed here. There is a wealth of knowledge on there. And then, once your employees are on board and ready to apply, they can apply as a worker. When you apply as a worker, it gets you into the Career Equity system, and this is where you're able to see all the trainings that are available. If you, as the employer, want to take a training as well, you are able to, but you would have to apply again as a worker. And then once you're in the system, you're able to register for any upcoming trainings that you're interested in. And last but not least, since I'm marketing, I'm just going to do a little pitch here. I'm just asking that you follow us on our social channels. We have LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. We're always posting upcoming trainings. We have blogs, anything that is going on with the program. This is where you can learn about a lot of that information. And that is it from my side.
Thank you, Summer. If you don't mind, could you go back to the screen that showed our upcoming trainings let's start with existing workers. So I just want to kind of connect the dots here for most of the companies that are on are members of our association. They're engaged in our trade school to some capacity. Hopefully you're familiar with, the classes that we offer, especially on the employer aspect of it in terms of our focus. But just to kind of go through the benefits here, if you look at the class that's starting next week, that price point is $1,250 per employee. Some of our members are based 15 minutes away from our school. Some of our members are based 3 hours away from our school. So in that scenario, you are, as the company, through this program, you have the benefit of offsetting that $1,250 per employee. You have the benefit of receiving $8 per hour per employee while they're in class. So for a 5-day class, you're talking a $320 reimbursement. Obviously, times that by 2, 3, 4, 5 employees, that becomes a significant dollar amount. And for our members that are based, are traveling a significant amount to come to our school, assuming they're based in Pennsylvania, and they need to incur that lodging expense, that is also eligible through this program to utilize, right? And the government, Gene, correct me if I'm wrong, it's going to be contingent on a government rate for overnight lodging, and that number is roughly $110 per night. We have 5 or 6 hotel partners within 3 miles of our school. all of them have a rate. We have a discounted rate with those partners. All of them have a rate under $110 per night, or at least most of them. So if you add that up, $1,250 plus an $8 wage reimbursement for 5 days, that's $320, plus if you need it and qualify, a lodging reimbursement, that's another $400, $500. You're talking about a $2,000 benefit per employee to come through for these classes. That is, for us, that is significant. I mean, we obviously have ran the trade school in most cases where there is no, companies are paying out of pocket fully to come and invest in training. This is a major deal, in our opinion, in the sense of the dollars that are available through Penn Heat Pump Pathways to really offset, serious costs that you have as an employer to upskill your team. And I just want to go through one other scenario. Summer, if you mind going to the next slide. This opportunity is even larger in the sense of our 400-hour program that's approved and licensed through the Pennsylvania Department of Education. Most of our attendees for this program are people that, we have one starting next week. They just graduated high school three weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, and they want to utilize our program, which is a condensed program, to quickly get into the industry. And then we're leveraging our membership network to help them find a job. We have people that are 27 years old. They worked at a warehouse. They have a young family, and they want to pivot and do something different with their career, and they're looking at HVAC as a great option. We have people that are transitioning out of the military. The program's eligible for GI Bill benefits, so we're attracting veterans into this program. But a fourth category is we do have members that are purposely hiring people. They have limited or no experience, and they're investing in these people as an employee to come through this program. And with the benefits of this program for our employers, and we have a handful of different employers that are participating with the class starting next week. Penn Heat Pump Pathways is offering $10,770 towards the offset of tuition for this program. It's a $13,370 tuition. The only thing they're not covering is the tool and book cost, which is $2,600. You add the wage reimbursement for 400 hours of being in this program. It is, I had to do the math to make sure I'm right, it is $3,200 that you would receive in terms of wage reimbursement per employee. If you are based 2 hours away and that employee needs lodging, you are talking about $110 per night if they're eligible per employee. You add all that up, I mean, that is a significant number that is available through this program for you as the company to go and really hopefully reinforce your objectives as a company. To hire good people, you need to train those people. Yes, you can do that internally. This program, as well as other eligible PHPP programs throughout the state that they're working with, is a great tool to help you upskill your employees. So I know we have some companies that are taking advantage of this. I know we have companies that are interested in this, and obviously you're joining today to learn more. But this program, the funding for this program is not forever. There is a specific allotment of money that was allocated to Pennsylvania through the IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act. Those dollars will, as this program rolls out, the dollars will go down in terms of eligibility. I think, Gene, correct me if I'm wrong, it's on the books to be eligible through 2028. Obviously, if this program utilizes the funds prior to that point, the benefits and the funding will go away. So from our perspective, this is a major opportunity for the HVAC community in the state of Pennsylvania to take advantage of. We think we have a lot of great opportunities for our school. There's also other eligible training providers out there. There's a great window here in the next 2 years to really take advantage of this program. So I encourage you all to consider that. And I will stop talking here from my end. I would welcome any questions from the group. And just to tee up a question for Summer. So you talked about Penn Energy Savers earlier. Can you just expand? I think some of the companies on here understand what that is. But could you expand on what the scope of what we're talking about? There is, I think, $259 million through the IRA that's coming to Pennsylvania for that program. Would you mind giving a little bit more detail on what that's going to look like once that launches?
Yes, once that program launches, they will be offering rebates to, I believe, PA residents to make upgrades to their homes, but it has to be a qualified contractor that does these upgrades. So as an employer, if you go through and you are eligible, you go through the program, you are a qualified contractor, you can tout these to, your customers saying we are a qualified contractor, you can get these rebates if you make these upgrades to your house, to your home. I don't know, Jean, do you have anything more to add?
Only that the only contractors that can offer this are the ones that have gone through our program or have passed the NATE exam.
So I think once Penn Energy Savers, once it becomes available, you're going to want to take advantage of everything that, is being offered.
And I'll add, just from a recommendation perspective, you need to meet the training requirements as Gene alluded to. So whether that's NATE certification or going through Penn Heat Pump Pathways for some of the trainings that we're offering. So I would strongly encourage, if that rebate program is something you're interested in, to essentially knock out the training aspect of this on the front end prior to this program launching. I don't know when it's going to launch. I don't know if anyone knows when it's going to launch, but it is going to launch at some point. So I think it's aside from just the training benefit of this, I think to take advantage of this prior to the rebate program is a wise consideration to make.
I think we're just really kind of treating this program as a really great foundation for when that program launches.
Okay, we got a couple questions. You guys might not be able to answer some of these, but I'm going to go through it. Will the Penn Energy Savers rebate program be available in 2026, or should we expect that will be rolled out in 2027?
We don't have any insight into that, unfortunately.
Yeah, the Federal Department of Energy controls those funds. They did testify in front of Congress a few weeks ago and said it's soon, and Congress pushed back and said, what's your definition of soon? Is it months or is it weeks? And they said weeks. So we had hoped to see a little bit more movement at this point, but unfortunately we don't have any insight.
Okay. Another question. I think this is a portion of this is directed towards us as PPA Tech, and another portion is going to be Summer and Gene and your team. Are we going to go over how to get reimbursed for the classes? Is that done through the account that was created through the employer?
Can I answer that one?
Yes, please.
Okay, so you don't have to pay anything. It's fully paid for upfront by this program. So it's not like you have to put up the $1,000 or the $10,000 and then wait for it to come back to you. It's completely paid upfront. When we ran pilots, we did find that, when anything is free, people value it a little bit less. So we had, a good portion of our students that had registered, they didn't show up. So we talked with our partners like TED and said, what's a good way to avoid the ghosting problem where we get people signing up and they don't ever turn up on the first day of class? And we decided that paying a small deposit, something that we let our trainers decide what that amount should be, and it is fully refundable. So there would be some sort of deposit asked of you, which would then be fully refunded promptly. Other than that, there's really no upfront costs. You just send your folks and Ted and I work out the payment. Now, when it comes to if you live more than 50 miles away from your training location, Ted isn't our only training location, but he is a very, very active trainer for us. If you live more than 50 miles away, you're automatically allowed to stay at a hotel. We won't pay for the weekends, but we'll pay Sunday through checking out Friday morning, because, you know, or whenever the night before your class is and the morning of the last day. That would be either something that your employee fronts or you front for them, and you would submit something to me and I would get a check to you 2 weeks to a month later. We also will reimburse for mileage if you need us to do that. There is no minimum. If you're going 5 miles each way, we will pay miles if you ask us. So again, that is something that you just fill out a form or you drop me an email and I get a check cut to you. So there's really not a lot in the way of upfront costs except for the deposit, which is typically like 100. I don't know, Ted, what are you asking for from the students that are in the programs that you have up on the screen right now, the longer, more valuable programs? Did you ask for a deposit from them, or?
With the way that this rolled out for, I think Penn Heat Pump Pathways was officially launched on June 5th or somewhere around that point. We actually have a class going on right now that started 2 weeks ago, and then we obviously have the one next week. So we're going to ultimately settle in on a deposit around $300 per person. But there was, due to how quickly this program kind of rolled out, in respect to when Penn Heat Pump Pathways launched, there was a little bit of, I'll call it, inconsistency in the sense of what, student A had to do compared to student B. And then there was also some other funding involved between PA Career Link as well as our scholarship. So we are fine tuning our process moving forward. And that will be a cleaner, especially going into the fall as well as 2027, it will be a much more cleaner, standardized process.
And trainers like PPA Tech work so closely with the registrants, especially the registrants of these long programs, that ghosting wasn't really a huge issue in your shop. So again, we do leave it up to the discretion of the trainer as to whether or not they feel they need to charge that deposit in order to get people to show up on the first day, and how much that deposit is.
And Jean, could you talk through the process for wage reimbursement, what that looks like?
Yeah, and we've alluded to the career equity platform a number of times, and as an employer, you would have to create an account. You would apply through our website, and then you would get an email saying, you've been approved. Here's a link. Please set up a username and password in your career equity system. As soon as you do that, and then you have an employee that also registers, you're linked to your employees, so you can go into and see which of your employees have signed up and which classes they're taking. As soon as Ted's people go in and check off that student has completed their course, so on the last day they run through and just check each of the students as completed, I immediately get a notification that I owe you $8 an hour for the number of hours of training. It's all automatic, and then I just load you up in my payment system and send out checks. So you don't have to do anything. We designed this with the contractors in mind, knowing that you don't have time for a lot of paperwork. You'd probably rather not even have to maintain one more login ID, but we did try to make it as easy as we could for you, so that you could take advantage of the program. We have a $4.1 million obligation to spend on training, so we really wanted to make it as easy as possible for anyone who is sending their employees for training. So you don't have to do anything to get your $8 an hour reimbursement. It will just appear. If you put your address in the application, I know where to send the check.
And to speak on this from our end, so for our members that want to engage in this through what PPA Tech is offering, the process is the exact same for any other class, regardless if that class is approved by Penn Heat Pump Pathways or not. So you go to our website, you select a class, you register for a class. That is, that's still the onboarding process for how we want employers to register for these classes. So we will work with you as we go through that. And if you have questions, obviously, a lot of our team and we're available. But we want the funnel still to come through our website. That's how we're offering 150 plus classes a year. We have thousands of attendees a year. So we're not going to deviate from our process for eligible Penn Heat Pump Pathway classes. So I will end that with our team is available if you have questions on how you want to, how you're going to handle the registration aspect of it. But just continue to utilize our website and you'll see the upcoming classes. We're also building out more with these classes that are eligible. You will see a designation within the class description. We also have a dedicated page on our website that's showing out of 75 upcoming classes. These are the 12 that are eligible for Penn Heat Pump Pathways. We are in the process of working with the different stakeholders on with BPA, DEP, Trickstone, the various contractors that are administering this. We do think we have other classes that are eligible or will be eligible. That could be, for example, in partnership with a Mitsubishi or a manufacturer for like an M&P training, for other hands-on classes that we offer, potentially A2L and EPA certification. These are definitely, these are items that are on our radar and that we're going to continue to work through, and hopefully, if it's deemed eligible, add more options to the list of eligible classes that are coming up. I saw it looked like Tom had his hand raised. Tom, you're on mute, so you're not able to speak, unfortunately. If you do have a question, feel free to put that into the question panel and we will run through that. Couple more questions. Can you okay, I think this might have been covered, but we can just kind of hit it again here. Can you update us on what training and certification is required to participate in Penn Energy Savers? So kind of go through that again, Gene. There's the NATE pathway, and then there's the other pathway through PHPP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have a number of pathways, and we determine what pathway you're in based on how you answer the questions on the questionnaire when you're applying on our application. So if you have already taken the NATE exam, all you have to do is create an account and submit your certification. It's only good for 2 years. So if you need to take it again, or if you're just interested in bypassing training and taking it, we will pay for not the core exam, but the air-to-air heat pump installation specialty exam. And we are also working with the state of Pennsylvania. I think they're 90% of the way there. If you need a prep course, we would pay for that. And I really am encouraging them to do that because I want the pass rate to be as good as it could possibly be. And I think it's a good use of the state's funds to pay for a prep course. Another training pathway, if you're interested in joining the Penn Energy Savers program, is to just take a 4 or 5 day training course that's been designed to cover a specific number of topics. So like our trainers like Ted will submit to us a curriculum that usually covers about 4 days, and we work with them to make sure it's covering all of the necessary topics. That's another pathway. You just sit through that course and then we'll be able to give your name over to the Penn Energy Savers folks. If you just, if the whole rebate thing doesn't interest you, but you'd love to take some training just here and there, we have an ad hoc pathway where you can just, we're going to start loading up some soft skills like selling classes and things like that. If those interest you, you could just take a one-off here, one-off there. No obligation to sit through anything long. All the same rules apply. We pay 100% of that tuition. And if you're sending a worker, we'll reimburse you for their wages at $8 an hour because we recognize that we're taking your workers out of the field to do this training, and that can hurt you financially. So we try to partially compensate for that. And then lastly, we have the new workers who sit through the really long courses. Ted's course is 11 weeks. We have other trainers where their course is more like 600 hours. It's more like 20 weeks. We've been surprised because we thought that would just attract folks that never worked in HVAC before, but we found out with Ted's group of recruits that there are some young workers that are kind of already working in HVAC as helpers or assistants or gophers on the job, and they show potential to be able to do more, to be able to do installs on their own. But the employer just doesn't have the opportunity to train them. They've been sending them to Ted's program that's 11 weeks long, and the employer will get reimbursement at $8 an hour for it's what's a 400-hour course, right, Ted? So, and they, you know, we deliver to you your employee back after 11 weeks that's well trained, and then lastly, you get the, you know, the benefit of all these crops of people that are coming through these 400-hour programs. You get first dibs. You know what they know, and you get first dibs on hiring them with Ted's help.
Summer, can you just go back one slide? Gene touched on this, but some of the 5-day classes that are being offered, that everything were the date on the inverter technology, actually it got expanded from 3 days to 5 days. So everything that we're doing right now that was approved is the 5-day, you know, kind of hands-on technical training qualification for existing workers in order to get you or your employee eligible to participate in this rebate program. And that was intentional. Some other questions. Will the NATE exams that PPA Tech is offering be paid through by Penn Heat Pump Pathways? So we are in the process. We added NATE certification, specialty and core and specialty a couple of weeks ago. We have offered NATE in the past on a limited basis, but we, with the you know, what's going to be required of contractors moving forward if they want to register in the Penn Energy Savers program, the rebate program, NATE is going to be a pathway there. So we have that built out on our website. We need to submit for approval to the team at Penn Heat Pump Pathways in order for that to be eligible. And that is going to be happening very soon from our end. However they deem it after we submit it, we shall see. But it's not approved yet, but our intention is to at least make the request for it to be approved. The way that we offer NATE certification classes is we have a prep in the morning, and then we have the test in the afternoon. So that is, to Gene's point, yes, there's online options out there, and that's great. But we don't have 100% pass rate by any means, but we feel strongly that the prep and the Q&A in the morning really helps the employee be in a place that's, you know, well positioned to hopefully do well on the test. So that I cannot fully answer that, other than it is our intention to hopefully get to that point in the very near future. We have registered for approval and have not received any correspondence. And this is coming from an HVAC company, so I'm assuming he's referring to as an employer registration through PHPP. And then the follow-up question is, what is the timeline for that approval?
Yes, so all approval happens very manually. We say give it like 3 to 5 days to hear back from the team.
Okay. The person that asked this question, if you want to reach out to me, I will send you my email in case you don't have it. If you want to reach out to me with any specifics on your submission and kind of what you're waiting on, I can pass it off to the team with Summer and Gene and others to look into your account.
I will say that the folks that are developing the career equity platform for us, I just had a long discussion with them the other day about training the employers that are signing up. So you may need a little bit of training. I got access to the career equity system. It seems pretty intuitive to me. I was able to poke around and find out a lot on my own without any training at all. So I don't know yet if we're going to make employer training optional or mandatory, but if you've submitted, you are most likely approved and in the system. The issue is we may not have yet sent you the email that's kicked out of the career equity system saying, welcome, you've been accepted, please click here to set up your username and password, because the folks that are writing it are afraid to have you log in without training. So we're resolving, how much training do we really need? What is the right timing? What is the right format? Do we just send a pre-recorded video to have you watch it if you need to, or do we ask you to try to get together in large groups or individual training? So we're still sorting that out. So it's very likely that whoever's asking this question is already approved and in the system, but just hasn't received their welcome email to set up their profile within Career Equity, because we're still kind of talking amongst ourselves as the best way, that's the most efficient for you people out in the field. We're trying to design this with you in mind first and foremost, and we don't want to be sending you a username and password for a system that you get into and you're like, I don't even understand this. So we will get back to you soon on that. That is high on my priority list to get that sorted out, because we are having more and more employers sign up, and a lot of them are coming through TED. So we understand that would cause some confusion, that you go ahead and fill out the application and you don't hear anything. So sit tight, you should hear something soon.
Okay, thank you for that. He did respond and said it's been more than 5 days. I got contact information. I will be tying him in with you all and the rest of your team to work through that. I did have another employer make a similar comment, and I can do the same with that employer. Can you reuse an expired NATE certification number? Separate question.
I don't know. I don't know what happens when your NATE certification expires. I can find out.
Yeah.
We'll stay on the NATE questions. Does an employer need to have a NATE air-to-air heat pump specialty to be approved an improved employer for PHPP, or is it just a requirement for Penn Energy Savers?
That's just the requirement for Penn Energy Savers.
And you don't have to have the exam. You can also go through the pathway where you take the 4 to 5 day training. That's the other option. Either one.
And to the person that asked this question, PHPP is playing a role here in the sense of, by being and Gene Summer, correct me if I'm wrong, but by being a registered PHPP employer, assuming you don't have the NATE specialty certification, you're going to be able to lean on PHPP benefits to offset your cost in order to get the certification. Correct?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
So he was just asking, do they need the NATE specialty certification in order to participate in PHPP?
Oh,
And the answer
no.
to that is no. That is tied into Penn Energy Savers, which is the rebate program.
Yes.
I was attempting to clarify, and I did not do this well, but the role that PHPP has as it relates to NATE certification is, if you register as an employer for PHPP, you're able to utilize PHPP benefits in order to offset the cost to get NATE certification with a eligible training provider. Is that accurate?
Yeah, we pay for the air-to-air heat pump installation specialty exam, and I'm trying to also get us to pay for a prep course. Again, we're still sorting out like some small nits with the state. And like I said, I think I have them 90% on board that a prep course is a good use of this funding. So yeah, that would be provided like any other training. You would register. You don't have to put any money up front. It's Ted and I work out, Ted getting reimbursed for your tuition. And again, you could get into the Penn Energy Savers program in 3 ways. You already have the NATE exam, you'd like to take the NATE exam, or you'd prefer to sit through the training if you don't feel ready for the NATE exam. And if you sit through the training, you do not then have to go on to the NATE exam. It's the training or the NATE exam to be eligible. And you only need 1 employee in your establishment to become eligible for the Penn Energy Savers program. It's not like all of them have to, all of your employees don't have to do this. Even 1 will get you as a qualified contractor. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, I think that I got a thank you message, so I think they're good. I did get another question about NATE tied into the original question about the certification expiring. What I'm going to do with that person is tie him in with you all, and we can work through that one as a one-off offline. And let's assume that might come up with other contractors, but we can work on addressing that. That is, I believe, everything that we got in. Those were some really good questions. I appreciate the questions. Hopefully that was helpful for everyone that is on here. We can give it 30 more seconds to see if anything else comes in, but Summer, Jean, Bryson, any wrap-up comments from your end?
So I would just really appreciate you being here and being interested in the program. It's a really great opportunity. Yeah, so thanks again.
And if you have any questions, Summer, do you have our toll-free number and our email for people?
You know what? I don't, but I will add it to the presentation, and I'm going to send that to Ted, and I believe he's going to send it out. So I will add that on there.
Okay, hold on, I do. I at least have the phone number is 877-736-3779 is our toll-free number. I'm so sorry I don't have the
Our
email.
email, yeah, it's info@penhpp.com. Both of those to the slides.
Yeah, that sounds great. We will include the slide ideally into the automated email that you're going to get tomorrow. If you don't, for some reason, don't receive that, or you want a copy specifically, feel free to reach out to me or to PPA Tech. Or general email is training@papetroleum.org. So we will find a way, ensure a way that we get you the slides. And like I said, this is recorded, so you will have the link to that recording as well. With that being said, I think we hit all the questions that came in. Again, I appreciate everyone's time. Thank you, Summer and Jean and Bryson, for the presentation. And we look forward to hopefully continue to expand this program as we move forward. For anyone that is on, like I said, please do not hesitate to reach out to our team if you do have questions beyond that what was covered today, especially with how this plays into our school specifically. So with that being said, hope everyone has a great rest of the day, and thank you again. Take care.
Thanks, everyone.
Everyone.